Hi guys, what's up? I'm back. Thank you guys so much for the 400 subscribers. Now we're going to be doing another video. I did the like a scouting thing of the Junior Cyclones, and I'm now going to do that with the regular ECHL Cincinnati Cyclones. So first off, like, I'm sorry if I hurt any feelings. I am sorry if I say anything that gets people a little bit triggered here. But I will try my best to put personal feelings aside about anything, and I will just be straight up talking from a scouting perspective on these guys. If you guys would like to see more of this, please feel free to comment. Feel free to hit me up on my socials. And also thank you to the person in the Junior Cyclones video comments that said this. I forget what your name is, but thank you so much. And also I would just like to say I only really get my stats from EliteProspects.com. This is not a sponsorship at all. This is my personal opinion on them. EliteProspects.com is a great place to get stats and get a good feel for the players. Please feel free to visit them. So shout out to them. So any kind of stats I'm really going to give you is really coming from that website itself. Feel free to visit it. Again, not sponsored. That I really like that site. Just wanted to plug that in there and give them that shout out. So let's begin. First off, number 24, Lincoln Griffin. This guy has a lot of speed. This guy can play on the power play. This guy can play on the penalty kill. This guy can play 5-on-5, on 4-on-4. This guy can play everywhere. This guy is a pure two-way forward. He is a guy that I am very, very surprised is not on an AHL contract. A very, very great player. I think he's 26 years old, so he's fairly young too. And this guy has a lot of talent. He can score. He can pass. This guy can do it all. Only real weakness I can see with him. I love you, Lincoln. You're a great guy. You're my favorite player. But I kind of have to do this. I can't really see you being a starting lineup guy and getting first line minutes. I'm sorry to say that, bro. I'm sorry to say that. I love you, buddy. And I think that you deserve an AHL contract. But I think where you fit best is second line left wing spot. And I feel like you fit well on the power play and the penalty kill, as well as that second line left wing. I feel like that's where he fits best. Great player, great guy. If you're a scout watching this, definitely take a look at him. Great player. He passes the eye test in so many different ways. So now let's go to I think his line mate is Matt McLeod. Great centerman. If I had to choose, I would put McLeod at center, Lincoln at left wing, and right wing would be Zach and Juziak. I feel like that's a killer speed line. So, I also have a cold here, so sorry if I cough a little bit. And also, this is my second time recording this. I'm a little bit PO'd a little bit because, second time recording this because the other one, I guess, didn't save or something. But I'm going to try and also make this a faster video, maybe talk a little bit faster because I don't want to waste time and have that happen again. Because I work hard on these videos, I really do. And it kind of just frustrates you a little bit when that kind of stuff happens. So, sorry if I'm talking a little too fast, but Matt McLeod, speed demon. A lot of speed. Human cheat code kind of speed. He can score. He can pass. Doesn't get too many assists. But he can definitely score. Definitely a sniper kind of player. Put him on the power play. I wouldn't put him too much on the penalty kill, but I would definitely have him on the power play unit. Okay? So yeah, great player, great all-around guy. Let's move on to Zach and Juziak. And Juziak wears number 8. He ever since coming back from that Fort Wayne injury, he's kind of looked a little bit scared out there. He can score. He's a great player. But he looks a little bit more hesitant, a little bit more slow out there. He seems to lost a little bit of speed and a little bit of the player he was. He doesn't look like the same player out there. I hope I'm wrong and I start seeing more of the player I used to see in him, but it's just the fact of he looks a little bit of a step slow out there. And maybe that's just because there's a lot of injuries and stuff, and because of his injury, maybe he's a little scared, which that's perfectly reasonable to be a little bit scared. I would be too, but facts here. So I'm not going to touch too much on Vive, Caparuso, and Barry. Great veteran group, great scoring. Not really much to say other than they're a great group, so I'm not really going to touch on them. You don't need scouting reports on them. They're great. So yeah, let's move on to Brandon Yeamans. I don't know if it's Yeamans or Yamans. I've heard it said both ways. I'm not too sure exactly on what it is, but great hardworking guy with grit. Probably one of, I hate to say this, but probably an odd man out type player on the team. Like if we got maybe 2 more bodies from the AHL, I think we would have released him, because there's a lot of great talent on this team, and he adds a lot of grit. He adds a lot of fighting and stuff. He doesn't put too many points up on the board. He has some speed too, but I think we may have released him had we gotten 1 or 2 more bodies. Sadly, that's what happens when you have a lot of talent on a team. It's sad, but it's true. But yeah, he's a great guy with grit, never afraid to fight, has a lot of respect from me because he asked guys to fight. So yeah, a lot of respect for Brandon Yeamans. Now let's move on to Phil Laganoff, a fellow forward. I wouldn't put him on the power play. I would put him on 5-on-5, and I would put him on the PK unit. Great two-way guy. Two-way option all the way. I would maybe like to see him forecheck a little bit more, maybe be a little bit more physical, throw the body around, finish your checks a little bit more. But great defensive option of a two-way forward. Not too much I can say about that. He doesn't score too much, he doesn't pass too much, doesn't have a lot of ice time, but he does do the job, and that's what counts, right? You do the job. Everybody has a role, and he executes his. Now let's move on to Lee Lapide. Again, wouldn't put this guy too much on the power play. I would put him mainly on the penalty kill, just like Laganoff. He's quietly a good two-way forward. Doesn't put a lot of points up, just like Laganoff. Doesn't put a lot of physicality into his game, but he's always in the position he needs to be. He's always a great option to have out there. Lee Lapide, not really much I can say about it, other than he's a two-way forward. Doesn't put up too many points, but quietly is one of the better players when he's out on the penalty kill. Great penalty kill specialist option. Okay, so let's move on now to, what's his name? Cody Karen. So Cody Karen, I worry about him. Like, he seemed to have chemistry with Vive and Jesse coming in last year. He kind of just doesn't have that anymore with Caparuso. And I don't know where he fits on this team. I really don't. Because you can't put him on the right wing, because you have Andrusiak. So he kind of is playing like third-line minutes here. That's really what you can equate him to playing. Third-line minutes. He's very physical. He likes to chirp a lot. Will fight.
I don't know.
Kind of. Sorry, that's Alexa. But kind of just like one of those players that doesn't like play like a offensive game. He's more of a grinding power forward type. Power forward, actually, that describes his game perfectly. Doesn't put up points, but he can hit. He has a lot of size to him. He's a good power forward option. I don't know what you would call Yeamans. Yeamans I would call more of a grinder option, but like Karen is definitely a power forward. No doubt about it, in my mind. Now let's move on to I'm not going to touch too much on the AHL players. Beck Warm, I'll touch a little bit on him. He's going to be really the only AHL player I'm going to touch on. But Beck Warm needs to do a lot of work on the shootout. He's terrible in the shootout. Great goalie otherwise. Kind of had a rough go of things coming back down from Rochester after he got called up for the flu. That was up there. He kind of had a rough go of things, but he's starting to find his way. But he needs to work on shootouts. Now for Mark Sinclair. He wore number 1 last year. Now he wears number 30. Great goaltender. I'm surprised this dude is not on an AHL deal, or has not gotten an AHL call-up yet. It's in his rookie year. He already has 2 shutouts. Great stats, great goaltender, a lot of talent there. We found him out of, I think he spent I think he spent like 1 year at Alabama, which is known for the football program, not so much for the hockey program. So then I guess he transferred to Michigan Tech. Again, not too big of a school, but that's why you should do your due diligence scouting as many teams as you can, no matter how big or small, because you can find guys like Mark Sinclair. I honestly would love to see Sinclair get Warm's contract. I'm sorry, Beck, but I kind of like to see you get released from the AHLSPC and Sinclair get an AHLSPC. Or I guess they can sign Sinclair just straight up to an AHLSPC and not release anybody. Have 3 goaltenders on an AHL deal. They have Michael Hauser, Beck Warm, and then they would have Mark Sinclair. I would have no problem with that, really. But Sinclair is a great goaltender. Nothing but great things to say about him. Only knock on him is he doesn't play the puck. He's very conservative. He doesn't come out too much to play it. Maybe he can work on that a little bit. I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this play. He is playing lights out. Playing lights out. Can't complain about that. Okay, so now on to the defense. Let's start with Arvin Outlaw. This is probably going to get a lot of hate from me, but Arvin, I love ya. I texted you when you came here. Welcome back. But at the first 6 games, you're up to like 38 penalty minutes. He is taking undisciplined penalties, idiotic penalties. Sometimes it costs the team. Sometimes we get lucky and it doesn't. He hasn't even fought, and I think he's almost up to 90-something penalty minutes now. He hasn't had a fight, so that's all double minors, or that's 2-minute penalties. That's a lot of penalty minutes. That's a lot of penalties to be taken. I love you, Arvin, but you got to be more disciplined. So let's move on now to Sean Allen. Sean Allen is a really big guy, not afraid to fight. Definitely a defensive defenseman. Doesn't give up too much. Will block shots. Nothing but good things to say about this guy, too. He's a very, very solid defenseman. Honestly, I think that when Mingo went down, he should have gotten the A instead of Outlaw. That's just my opinion. So now let's move on to, let's go to Kyler Matthews. Kyler Matthews, pure enforcer. I haven't gotten a chance really to see him play in person. Same as Reed Crowder, but he got suspended for coming off the bench. But just before he got called up to Cincinnati, he got suspended in the SPHL for 3 games for coming off the bench to fight. Dude's a fighter. He's an enforcer. No way around it. Bray Crowder, he's one of the quieter, more disciplined guys. He's a huge guy, 6'6". He's like Power Rangers Megazord type size guy. But he doesn't take too many penalties. Seems like one of the quiet, like, defensive gems. Kind of like a Sean Allen kind, only without the fighting. I haven't really seen him play, so, like, I don't know if that part is, like, accurate, but that's what it looks like based on his elite prospect stats. So now let's move on to Mingo. Mingo, probably going to be last season. And honestly, I wouldn't blame him if he retired mid-season, because he just got injured from a board. It was uncalled, but then the guy later got suspended for 2 games for it. But he injured his collarbone. I think he broke his collarbone. He's going to be out for a little bit now, but I think that's also the same arm that he missed time with earlier in the season. I think he missed time on the exact same side because of his shoulder, so I would not blame him. It probably would be in his best interest just to retire mid-season. Mingo, I really hope that they bring you back, move Becerra to like an associate coach role, and then move you into an assistant coach, because I'd really love for you to stay with the organization. You're a great guy, great presence out there. I love you. You are going to have a great coaching career because you have said that you want to coach later, and I think that's great for you. I think you're going to be a great coach. So that's really all the defensemen we have, honestly, at this point. Smerek is gone. Actually, no. I'm going to touch on Burnside and Betts. Betts, I think, is better than Burnside here. I think he's a quietly good rookie. A lot of leadership ability. He was a captain on the Ice Dogs. He is a great defensive option. A lot of size, can hit. Doesn't hit too much, but can do it when he needs to. Great defensive option. Now, Burnside, this is probably going to piss a little bit of people off. But Burnside, he's too inconsistent for me. One game, he'll be off. Like, he'll be giving 3 pucks away in the first period in the defensive, 2 of which, go for a goal. So, but then he will go all the way over to having, like, the other side of the spectrum. There's no neutral with this guy. Like, he will, be amazing. Nobody will get past him. He'll stay on his man. He will make a poke check behind the back. Amazing plays. He will play lights out. And there's no neutral. There's, no in-between. He's either really good or he's bad. When he's on, he's really good. But when he's off, he's a liability out there and he needs to be better. So I think that Betts should have that spot instead of, what's his name? I don't care what his name is, honestly. Yeah, Burnside. So, yeah. So, Burnside, until you get a little bit more consistent. But I'm sorry, but I would give that spot to Betts because you're too inconsistent with how good you are out there. Consistency is everything, and in pro sports, you're just not showing it. You bounce around from team to team. I get it, but you're too inconsistent. I would love to see that you more often of the when you're on, but when you're off, it's just atrocious, dude. When he's off, it's just really, really bad. Like, I cannot describe how bad it is. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. And also, thank you for 400 subscribers.